Officially welcome to our BG5 Career and Business Consultant Certification course. We are in semester 1, and I am honored to be with all of you. It's my great pleasure. I will be teaching the class from an off location. I am currently in Heidelberg, Germany, but I'm normally located out of Luxembourg. And the reason as to why I traveled here was to meet two BG5 consultants who are running their business, and they are participating in an event, a big future leadership event, and they're going to run a BG5 workshop there. Some of you may know them. They're Boris, Nedved, and Manuela, who was also assisting me in my previous classes. And Heidelberg is 2.5 hours from where I live. And we drove here to meet them. So BG5, becoming BG5 consultants also means having community, people you can work with, people you want to meet. You'll drive hours to meet them. So that's why I'm teaching this class from Heidelberg, Germany today. And I am very happy because I got to see some people in person, and then we got to meet each other after a break from our foundation course. Plus, we have newcomers joining into the classes. So today, what we're going to be doing is introducing you to BG5. Well, you have quite a good idea about what BG5 is, of course. The intro plus what does it mean from a consultancy perspective? Because if you think about it, knowledge is available pretty much everywhere these days. So if I wanted to differentiate what we do in the classes and why this is a consultancy course, is we practice, apart from learning a lot of new information that we haven't covered previously in the foundation courses in terms of teams, leadership, and all the other metrics that we can see, we're going to concentrate on how do we use this information to deliver it to clients. Yeah. Because knowing it is one thing, being able to give consultants to somebody, being able to coach a team, working with a leader, using this information is a different thing. So that is how we intervene the classes. We concentrate on adding more, deeper knowledge to what we know, learning new things about teams and team dynamics, about leadership metrics in here. And then we concentrate on how are we going to deliver and coach teams, leaders, and individuals with this knowledge. And with the times shifting, it's becoming more and more important, of course. And I truly believe, and I know many of you would as well agree, that this is the tool of the future. I wouldn't even call it an assessment tool, but it is the human resources tool, leadership tool for the future. And there's more and more interest in it. There's quite an uptake on human design. In the past, people didn't even know about it. There's an interest in it, but more and more leaders, because they're searching for how to do things differently. Because what we know from the past doesn't always work anymore. It's not enough to hold the employees there, to have people happy, to have them function as a team, if I can put it that way. So this is the tool of the future. Yes, I know some of you will be just using this. Some of you might already be consultants. Maybe you're going to integrate it into your own practice of coaching or other things that you do. Yeah, there's so many different ways that we can take this information to all the people out there. And if there's one thing that I really know, because, you know, I always say there are no absolutes in human design, but one thing that I'm sure of is people need this, and they will benefit so much from it if we're able to take it to them. Yeah. And I feel my calling, that's my service, being able to take it to as many people as possible, and teaching these classes, working with you, who can create ripple effects, take it to further audiences, is a great fulfillment and success for me. So we're also going to be taking a look at diving into the materials today, looking a little bit into understanding what aura is. Yes, we all know it at the knowledge level, but let's experience it, yes, and how can we explain it to other people as well. And then we'll talk a little bit about becoming a consultant. And we have some visitors who are joining us for the first class to see if it's for them. So I have Agnes, Tiffany, Yurong, who sent me an email. Yurong, you will get the recording for this class. Aga, Eugene is here, and Corina, who are visiting. From people who have previously been in my classes, you're already connected as a class. Caroline, Christy, Dragana, Kiana, Natalie, Olga, and Suzanne were together in the previous foundation course. Carolina, I'll ask you to introduce yourself, please, in the next class, maybe, or you turn on your camera, so you can do that now.
Certainly not.
Heard the comment, please do.
I'm Carolina. I am originally from Colombia, but I now live in Abu Dhabi with my family. I started learning about human design originally about 5 years ago. And then just recently completed the first 2 semesters before joining this class.
Yeah, great to have you with us.
Thank you. For reference, I'm a 1-3 builder cycle.
Lovely. Yes, we all get to learn each other's designs inside out by the time we graduate. Usually that's what happens. It was interesting. We came to visit Boris and Manu, and we were having lunch. And my husband is also a BG5 consultant because our business is growing and we needed another person to help the advisor. He's a builder to get through all the work that we have with clients. So he's just been certified as well. And Manuela was telling him, you have 180 in your design, don't you? So she memorizes everybody's charts because we give so much examples. And that's the beauty of being in class together because we learn from each other. And we do it live. Everybody brings in their perspective, how we're living it. And we might have another builder 1-3 in this class, and they would take things completely different from you because we're all so unique. So that's the contribution of everyone in class. And that's why we were all meant to be here together because we are in each other's fractal. So yeah, I am really glad. And we have Sat. Sat is actually, he's been taking some of my other classes and he was interested to understand all the BG5, the details of BG5 knowledge. So welcome to you, Sat, as well. All right. And for our guests, if you have questions at the very end around registrations, how do the classes work and everything else, I'll be happy to answer them at the end. I have an intro slide, but I think many of you do know me, so I won't spend a lot of time on introducing myself. Shortly, I am somebody who's very enthusiastic about this knowledge, who learned so much from this knowledge in my personal life, in my career, then also becoming a consultant and just doing this as my business. And it's like my mission to help people with this. It's also part of my life purpose, being a teacher dedicated to explaining the same thing over and over and bringing transformation and change to people's lives. And I think the business application of human design is a big part of my calling. And I am so happy that you chose to be in this cohort with me. And with that, I also want Veronique, our lovely assistant, to introduce herself a little bit for everyone who's new. Veronique, if you'd like to please introduce yourself, and I really want to thank you for accepting to assist me further in the certification course as well.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm very pleased and honored to be Banu's assistant for this new class as a BG5 consultant certification course. Happy to see the well-known face that already been mentioned by Banu. And just to introduce myself, I have been a BG5 consultant in France since 2023. And before that, I have a long history of being an international marketing communications director and senior consultant in France and in the UK and in many countries around the world, without knowing anything about my career type, which is advisor, and my public role, which is 5-1, which is kind of described by the savior or the general, which what I was supposed to do for my employers, the company I worked with, or my clients. And of course, like lots of advisors, I have behaved like a builder thanks to my family conditioning. So I'm extremely happy to be with you today, to continue to assist the greatest teacher of them all, and today happy to help people at the crossroad of their business life and career.
Thank you so much, Veronique. It's great to have you again in the certification course. To me, it's important that I work with people, when I teach especially, to work with people who have business experience. And Veronique has many years, 30 years of business experience, leading global companies, heading marketing, solving global problems, issues. So it means a lot because you will be able to bring in your view of how this can really be applied in business, in the problems that you had being a leader in business. That's what I also want to try to bring into this, my practical application and how it worked for me. I worked for Microsoft, the latest, for 13 years, where I was a sales director. And before that, I worked at Xerox. So that's a total of 25 years for me that I did in the corporate world. But I'm one person after all, right? There's so much that I can bring. And when we have assistants like Veronique, who are very knowledgeable, it just makes it better. And then we have you, of course, the students who also contribute so much from their own experience in their personal lives and corporate lives and business lives. So I'm really, really looking forward to our journey together. All right, so let me move back now to our class. Very briefly, as we are beginning, I want to give you a little bit of a background of what the whole consultant certification course is going to be about. So if you look here, you will see that the semesters are structured in a way that helps you even start delivering these services as early as possible. So in semester one, which I will take you through the details of what we will learn together in semester one in the next slide, but in semester one, our basic goal is to learn how to deliver the BG5 career design overview, which is the basics of working with anyone from the business world in terms of their design. So we just don't do that, but that will be the outcome of it. We will learn more than that. But basic output is being able to deliver that. So when we're done with semester one, you can even begin to deliver the service by, of course, informing that you're not yet certified, but you have learned how to deliver this knowledge to clients. In semester two, we learn to do the full analysis, which is all the 16 tools. I will show them to you. So this is going deeper with somebody, really deeper into their design, and how do you coach them with that? And in semester two, we also learn how to do a partnership analysis. So people who have been working together in partnership, maybe they own a company together, maybe they work on a project together. We take two people and see how their partnership dynamics work. What are the problems they're going to have? What might be the strong areas within this relationship? Where can things go sparky and create problems sometimes? And how can they support each other? So there's a lot there in terms of the partnership that we will take a look at. So you're going to learn that in semester two. And in semester three, we learn to deliver the Alpha 1 leadership analysis. So specifically working with the leader of a company. This entails, of course, coaching the leader on a personal side, but also helping them work with their team. So how would they handle their team? How can they benefit from their team members? Bringing out the most of the team by honoring everybody's design and also letting everyone in the company honor their design, of course. And we also learn how to do a small business analysis. or team analysis. So if you're going to work with teams, how do these people come together? Where might they be strong? Where might they have problems? How could they solve that? What are going to be the personal dynamics between the people in that team? And most importantly, of course, how does it serve the business while these people are being honored, they're fulfilled, satisfied, and feeling the success, but the bottom line and the success metrics of the business are also met. So as you can see, it is jam-packed. There's a lot of information we're going to cover. What we learned in the beginning is based a lot on the foundation materials because it's delivering on the personal side of things, but we will go deeper into everything we have learned at the high level. And then we start learning new things. So what does it mean, for example, an electromagnetic when two people come together, or where might the problems be, or how does it work in a team setting? So then that entails a lot of new information that we got to learn, which will be integrated. So diving into semester one, I'm not going to go into all the details of this, but just to give you a snapshot. So the main purpose actually of semester one is for you to be able to deliver this information to people, be it your clients, or at the maybe beginning, it will be people that you want to practice with. Yeah. So the class is going to be structured in a way where we keep on building on the foundational materials that we know and keep on adding how we deliver that to people outside. And then, as you see, as of class 7, we start learning around the penta skills, the lower penta, the upper penta. So we're starting to learn a little bit into the team dynamics as well, the business attributes. And then in class number 10 is when we have a practicum session. So at the end of this class, I am going to ask all of you to find a class buddy. You can propose who you would like to work with, or if not, I'll pair people up. Yes, based on like your time zones and everything. So it will be easy for you to meet each other. The idea is as we go through, you work on somebody else's design. And in class 10, you deliver each other a career design overview, right? Because the idea is we want to get you practicing. Because to know something at the knowledge level is something. To be able to communicate that and have it resonate with another person is another thing, especially if the person doesn't know much about human design and they have not heard it. Yeah. And then relate it to their business situation, because that's why they came to you as a business consultant. Yes, they didn't go to any human design knowledgeable person that's out there. Yeah. So this is the idea, a very brief overview of what we will be doing together. Yeah. And the requirements to complete the course is, of course, going through the classes. There'll be assignments, and then there'll be the semester project, which is delivering it to somebody outside the class. You just deliver it, share your deck or how you presented it, and some reflections with me. Once you have checked all the operational stuff, like the payments, the agreement, like there's an integrity agreement and all that, then you would have completed the course. Okay. Are there any questions for me as I am moving ahead? Or anything on the materials, what we're going to cover? All right, we're good. Lovely. Let me continue then. Now, let's talk about BG5. Yes. As you know, Ra taught BG5 as a separate curriculum. So apart from everything that he had actually thought in terms of being an analyst, applying it on the personal side, he actually taught the BG5 classes a couple of times, 3 times I think he thought, because his idea was it's not the consultant's idea or the business of application of human design. Its purpose cannot be to awaken people or to bring a spiritual awareness to people or to decondition them. All right, just give me a second because there's the window is open and there are people screaming at the door. So let me get that. Right, that worked out fine for me. I don't know if you were hearing it. Yeah. So
no noise. We couldn't
you
hear
weren't?
it.
Okay, it was only me.
You like me with the planes.
You with the planes, exactly. Yeah. All right. So and he had a different perspective when he wanted to teach BG5. Yeah, and that's the angle that we are actually going to be taking. Just a few slides. So he said when Ra was teaching it from his BG5 lectures, he said it's not directly connected with what we would call the spiritual awakening, yes, because this is business. And the goal is not to be awake. It's, of course, for business, if it's a business, is to improve the bottom line. So not only is the goal to improve the bottom line, but it's interested in looking at human beings in a way that's almost the opposite of the way in which you look at human beings in terms of your relationship to them, in terms of basic human design. Yeah. So the human design perspective is much different from the angle that we take. Yeah. It's about, for example, how do we find jobs that fulfill us? Yeah. How can we do what we love and love what we do? Finding that satisfaction, finding the success, the peace and delight that's there. How do we practically use our design to share our wisdom? And at the same time, prosper, of course. Yeah. As a human being, because if you think about the world, it's much of a material world that we're part of. So even our terminology in BG5 is different from what we use in human design. Because then we can take it out to the business world and people resonate better with it instead of it looking so esoteric. To some people, it does. You know. So that's the view that Ra actually had. So the way that we're looking at design in BG5 is different. And he spoke about in BG5, it means that material capacity, yes, that material potential that really needs to be understood. And through human design, give them tools that they can really operate correctly in the future, yes, and then be able to bring in the material resources that they're going to need into their lives at the same time. And in the personal application of human design, there's a lot of emphasis on eliminating the conditioning. There's a lot of talk on the not self. Yes. But if you take what we do, we're not preoccupied with conditioning of the not self. We look at the not self as our shadows and distractions, but we take them and turn them into wisdom. Because people have them in their design. We all have our shadows and distractions in our design. But the moment you can become aware of it, yeah, then it also can become your wisdom. There's a lot of wisdom in our openness. Once you stop personally identifying with them, and you can be an objective observer of things, and then you can start taking advantage of them. Maybe some of you know there's an advanced course around profit potential that's taught at the Institute. It comes again from Ra's original teachings. And the main theme of the profit potential is how our openness attracts to us, because business requires attraction. Business doesn't happen in a vacuum. You need clients, you need suppliers, yes, vendors, employees. So you need to connect with others to be able to do business in whichever way or form. Yeah, it could be online, but there needs to be a transaction and it needs to have people in it. So then we could really take advantage of this attraction that comes through our openness, turn it into our wisdom, and then use it to our advantage. So these are the things that we look at from a BG5 perspective. And Ra also said, of course, everyone needs to make a living. And everyone has to survive with the level of consciousness that they have. And he said, the knowledge of human design is not just there for those that will wake up. Yeah. He said, you can just make a small business or a penta functional with very small things that you can do. Because once you learn how to do penta analysis, which we will in this certification, you can make small changes. And it would make so much difference in how that business starts operating and actually starts delivering at the bottom line. So this is not about being esoteric. This is about making things functional. Yeah. And then even if people do not wake up spiritually, they can still take advantage of this knowledge. Okay. Some people will be interested. They will come to you. They will work with you on a personal level. And maybe some people are not interested at all, but if the alpha or the owner of the business chose to do like some team consultancy with you and you offered a few changes or some updates to the team structure or help them solve problems, then everybody in the team will automatically benefit. Yeah. So then we're taking the wisdom of human design to businesses, even when people don't want to wake up or they're not interested. And then we could really serve them still because the mechanics exist. It's a matter of how do we take advantage of it. Yeah. So I think this summarizes what I just said. Yes, we are here to provide practical solutions to business problems. We use a different language and we try to benefit both the business because businesses are transauric entities. Yeah, the business is not a person, but it's made of all the people in it. And it's where 1 + 1 = 3, of course, because it morphs into something else, that transauric entity. So we want that business to be successful, but also at the same time, all the individuals in it be honored, aligned, and finding the satisfaction and fulfillment and success in their lives. So it's all about material success, finding purpose, yes. So if you look at the bottom slide, the bottom part of the slide, you will see, yes, you can learn to consult others on how are they designed to make money, how they can find their purpose in life, and how can they fulfill it, yes. What gifts get called out of them when they go into a partnership versus when they go into a small group versus when they're part of a large group, because it changes according to the person's design. And which environment is correct for us? How do we work best with others? Because we are not here to operate and be by ourselves. Yes, we're social beings. We're born into families. Even doing business doesn't come in its wholeness. Yes, we're always interacting. So how are we going to do that? Also looking at how do we make partnerships successful, doing teamwork effective and successful. So you can learn all of these as an outcome of the materials here. And then, of course, there's the art piece. There's the science piece of everything that we're going to learn here. Plus, there's the art of you personally adding your own flavor into this. Now, if you have been called to look into this material, there is something there, and there's something in you that you will contribute on top of the knowledge to all the people who you will be working with. Some of you will do the consulting. Some of you may be taking it back to the teams that you work in, maybe as a manager, or you're a team member and you're going to take it to the businesses that you're part of. There's so much that we can do with this information being useful to the business and to the people. So the information helps us in two ways: understanding the individual career design of somebody, including yourself, of course, and then understanding how we can work best in business. Because it's all about that interaction, plus the dumbing down, yeah? In terms of, Ra always said, the moment you become part of a larger group, I also teach OC16 classes, which is large business application of human design. He always spoke about the moment we enter into teams, how we start adapting to that larger group of people, that is a WA, yes, it's a group of people, or an OC16 is a group of people who came to do something together. It could be a football team, it could be a small to large size business, yeah, anything above 10, but we are affected by that organization or group that we're part of. So how do we understand that? And how do we start taking advantage of it? And I see there's something in the chat. Okay, so Christy is back, and that's what is in the chat. So this is what we are continuing to cover in the course. And so on the slide, as you can see, let me take my pointer. So in terms of how we function, we can do things on our own, yes? So that's the solo, and we look at the career type. You might be solo as a solopreneur or working individually on something, or you might be connected to an organization, but you always work in your own aura. Maybe you never go to the office. So then the you that works on something only for your own versus the you that's connected to some bigger organization, but you work from your home office, let's say, always in your own aura, versus the you that goes to the office and connects with other people's auras. There are different dynamics that are happening in there. And you will start understanding that first for yourself, but then for others as well, so you can start guiding them. And that's what we learn. So looking at the solo environments, looking at partnerships, when we work on things like we could be establishing a company together with someone, we could work with somebody on a project base, yeah? So it could be a temporary partnership or a full partnership. So we can look at a companionship chart together, and then we'll learn to do small business analysis and also looking at large groups. The large group application, the OC16, is a whole 3-semester other course. It's very deep information. So those of you who are interested after finishing this, you're welcome to join me in those classes as well. So every January, I start another cohort of teaching OC16. Yeah, but let's get started with this, okay? And then we can work our way towards working with people, organizations formed of people, 10 or more people, if I can put it that way. It's called an OC16, but it starts at 10, okay? And I also want to show you, remember I talked about these 16 success tools, because first we're gonna learn how to do the career design overview, which is introducing somebody to their design. So that entails the type, the interaction, decision-making strategy, the signposts, yes, the key indicators, how they assimilate information, and the environmental style. Some of you have done career design overviews, some of you with me. So this is what it is. So this we learn in semester 1. We get started going on into the full analysis, but in total there are 16 success codes that are there that you can use. So it doesn't mean you will have to deliver all of it to a person. It depends on how you're going to do your own coaching. And as we go through the semesters, we're also going to be working on that. Okay. Some people choose to deliver like the 16 tools in 3 sessions. Some people will pick, yes, so I would do this in a session. And if I get, like if they want another session, this is where I go deeper. So this is giving you all the tools, and it's like a toolbox. And then you will decide what you need for that person or team as you are working on it. Olga has a question. So are we talking about the size of the business organization or the number of people we work immediately? So Olga, it depends. So it depends on who you are going to analyze. So let's say if you wanted to understand for yourself, yes, so Olga is the general manager of a company, and you had 400 people, right? If I remember. So then, for example, as a leader, if you wanted an analysis for all of your organization, it would start with working with you as the leader. So then that is introducing to your design. That's the one tool we would use, and the Alpha 1 leadership analysis. And then maybe looking at all your organization, but we break them into chunks. Maybe we could do an analysis, for example, for your leadership team. I don't know how many people that you have in your leadership team. So they could come as one team, and then you could look at it in verticals for their team, but always keeping in mind that they are part of an OC16 because it's a big company. Yeah. So it depends on the angle the alpha wants it. And we're going to learn as we're working with this information, it all depends on what your alpha wants. Because sometimes people will come to you, they might be a startup. They're going to establish something. Maybe first they want to understand themselves. And then maybe they're going to partner with somebody. They want to understand how that works. And then they're going to expand. So you're going to help them build pentas, small teams. And then maybe they dream about growing. So they're going to grow above 10, going to an OC16. So then you can even help them engineer. So it depends on what the alpha wants, yes, how they want to be helped. Maybe they just want to solve a problem within the company, like there are interaction problems, or people are having issues connecting to the company culture or delivering. So it depends, yeah? It was a complex question, but you asked a complex, a complex answer to a complex question, but there isn't anything easy in human design, right? When we talk BG5, it's always, it could be this, depending on the situation, and that's the art. So you're going to have all this in your toolkit, and you as the consultant, then you know, oh, okay, this alpha needs this, and I can pull out this, and this is where we start. And through the interaction, you will see where it needs to go. Yeah, and it's so, it makes this knowledge so exciting because there's so much that we can help people with. It just depends on your interaction, what they have in mind, and then you go from there. Any other questions or anything coming up for anyone? Oh. So then I can continue. Usually, as many of you know, I don't like quiet classes, so I'll poke and provoke you to speak. I know we will get that going as we advance into other classes.
I fully agree with everything you have said, Banu.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and already the first 6 are so important that people think they can, hear, but no, it takes time to really integrate deeply. At least the first 6, it's not just we say click clack Kodak. It takes time.
Yeah, thank you, Veronique. And I think we're living in the information age. AI is there. Like if you ask ChatGPT, can you tell me my human design from a business side? It could spit out a lot of things. But why do people want to work with consultants? They do because we coach that person, we consult with them so they can really live their design. Okay. Oh, it's easy. Oh, I'm a builder and I should, look at my gut response. But what does that gut response mean? Can they tap into it? Have they done it in the last 3 important decisions that they had actually had to make? Sometimes I meet people and I tell them, my passion is around human design and business. They're like, oh, okay, I've had a human design reading. And I ask them, okay, what's your type? And all that. They're like, oh, I don't remember. What was it? Or they say, let me look at the report. Okay, if they're looking at their report, that means they took nothing out of it. They don't even remember what their type was. I meet such people. Like, I had a few readings and then nothing. Or sometimes they'll say, I'm a manifesting generator 5-1. And I'm like, okay, so how are you applying it? Are you working on it? They're like, not so much, but I know. So we help people take it from knowledge to actually living it. That's where you can really help. Yeah. And that's why they will want to work with you. How do they embody their design?
Yeah. Absolutely. It's like the sports, you know, you don't you are not able to run a marathon without a long time of training and running. The same. You don't change your body in 2 minutes. The same.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. And yeah, it's like there was a good leader that I worked with, and when I was explaining the mechanics and how they work with her, she said, "Oh, this is like surfing, because when you're on a surfboard and you are in that wave, no matter how much you told me theoretically how I would do it, until I can really learn how I go within that wave, then it's a different thing. Yeah, you do theory, but to be able to really apply it when that wave comes, when you actually have a problem, when you have an important decision, that's what makes the difference. And that's where you can really, really help people." Okay. Olga has another question. Are assimilation and environmental style represented with the same characteristics in BG5? So Olga, environmental style is built on assimilation, but it doesn't equal assimilation. So for example, if somebody has, let's give an example. For example, it might be synthesizing assimilation and they have some penta skills, okay? Depending on what they also have in their public profile and whether they have the 45 or 21, their environmental style recommendation will change. Everybody can work in any environment, but to pick the right environment or to put them in order of like what would work best for you, you look at more metrics than assimilation. But assimilation is a big part of it, yeah. So if the person was synthesizing, had some penta definitions, was a 5-1 and had the 45, we wouldn't recommend them to work in a small business day in, day out, for example, although they have penta definitions, because they would feel locked in and it wouldn't serve them. So this is like this is what we're going to learn. So we have dissected a lot of information. Now, by looking at one chart, how do you take different components, bring them together, and make it relevant to a person? That's what we learn in this class. Yeah, in detail. And of course, this is the science of differentiation. There's a lot of uniqueness to people. So we learn the basics together. We do a lot of examples together. And it would be great that if you look at a lot of charts, you talk to a lot of people, you bring them to class so we can answer these different questions as well. You learn the high level information of how to look at them in this class. That's what you don't find outside in the internet, in the age of AI and knowledge. Yeah, it will spit out one by one information, but the synthesis like this, only a consultant can do. Until somebody really trains an AI or something, but which can be done, but the connection will not be there, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Until that time, there's going to be a lot of contribution that we can do, and then if we were to train some AIs, it could speed up our process as a consultant. Okay, I already talked about partnerships, but it is 2 people's design, but 1 + 1 = 3, because the entity now becomes something else. Their energies and their beings start interacting. So then we're gonna learn how to look at those, how this 1 + 1 becomes 3. So when in the partnership analysis, we learn understanding the energy dynamics between these people, the chemistry and the attraction, yeah, the strengths of the relationship, the challenges of this relationship or partnership, yeah. We can learn to look at this. So if people are already doing something together, they're in a partnership, you can use this information. Or if they're going to start a partnership, you can also coach them, okay. And it's people usually have a lot of aha moments And it's just like, it solves a lot of problems because they no longer make it so personal when things happen. So it's very effective doing partnership analysis with people as well.
Absolutely.
Then we also, Veronique, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, yeah, absolutely. The aha moment and people discovering how the relationship happens and where the challenges happens. That is definitively very, very sharp and interesting to discover. Definitively. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, then we also use the information, of course, to look at team dynamics. So when like 4 people, as in the example, come together, when the individual auras are pulled together, we have a transauric form now, the penta. So when people go into a penta like this, 3 to 5 people, they get locked in, okay? And certain energy dynamics start playing. And it's usually just, not usually, it's just interested in this part, always interested in this part of your design. And these are the business skills that we're going to be studying. We look at who brings what. The columns here represent the people. So we have the pink person who brings in this, for example, the red person bringing these. So everybody's contributing something to this team. And we're going to see the strengths of it. Like implementation is sales. This team has sales skills coming from 3 people. Then we can see the nuances of that. What type of sales? Is it one-on-one sales? Is it one-to-many sales? Is it through networking? Is it through just going out? Is it through being called in? Is it by speaking details? There's so much details into looking at a penta. It doesn't mean you're going to present everything you see on all these things that you see on a penta. You have a lot of information. It doesn't mean you're going to present everything to your client or the person that you're going to work with. Okay. Or Olga, let's say you're going to do something for your organization, or I know many of you have teams that you're working with. Maybe you want to do something like that. You're going to see a lot of things, but then there might be 1 or 2 things that you think will help that team to make a shift. And then you can just pick those out. But of course, this is certification. We learn everything. All right. And then as a consultant, it's up to you what you take in or not, because the idea is to help people, of course, not to educate them on BG5. And then the BG, of course, the team has its own dynamics. This is the penta. We ideally don't want any gaps in the penta. We do something called gap engineering as well, and we're going to be speaking about that. And this it's weaved into all semesters, but we bring it together in semester 3. And the team dynamics, it really makes a difference. Maybe if you thought about it, and I lived this a lot. For example, I'm the same me. Yeah, I had different teams in different countries. So I had a team in Turkey. I had 1 team in Israel. I had another team in South Africa, sometimes in other parts of the world, in Middle East and Africa. So my interaction with the team is so different. 1 team, the synergy is different. Although I was the same manager, you try behaving differently depending on who's in that team and how that team's dynamics is playing out. Yeah, I'm sure you have all experienced this. So that's what team dynamics actually mean. We've all lived through it. So when auras of different people come together, it forms something else. So this knowledge allows us to take a look at all of that. So we will study all the details of this, looking at, so this is our penta chart showing us the unconscious dynamics below the surface, how people mechanically or aurically, energetically affect each other. We look at something called triggering. Sometimes 1 person in the team will feel a lot of pressure. Sometimes 2 people don't get along well. We see a lot in those triggering graphs when you look at these. Yeah. But before going into the details, we will look at the high-level things. We have 12 business skills. Does this team have this? Are people bringing these? And then we have 6 energy flows in these pillars. Yeah. So pulling the team together, holding it together. This is the material driving force. So the energy is built up here, boosted up towards from the vortex. This is the internal workings of the group. And then this is the external, because we get to sales, marketing, operations, and all that. So marketing to clients, planning for the future, overseeing the operations. So we're going to study these in detail. And this is how we actually help teams do a better job at what they do. Okay. Because if a team has a gap somewhere, it becomes a problem usually. And you will be able to call it out immediately. You can start asking them questions as to how do they experience that in their business. And you would be surprised how accurate you are. The moment you ask them and they're like, oh, yes, this has happened. This, they'll give you 5 examples of how they're seeing that. And then you can work with them on how they will improve it. And it's not, you don't have to provide the answers. You're going to help them find their own answers because they know their business better than you. You don't know the business details. You can do this analysis, but you as a consultant can show them where the problem is, help them identify it, and coach them into finding their own solutions. Okay, of course, you can make suggestions, but in the end, it's the alpha's call. And they know their business better than you do. So it's also a partnership between you and the alpha or whoever is hiring you to do this work. Okay. So there's a lot, yes, whatever everybody in the team contributes, who will feel comfortable or not. Is the energy flow efficient, really helping this team? What are the struggles, challenges? How can we encourage everyone to bring out the best? How to improve the teamwork, yeah, and also be able to engineer it, other things that we can do. And that's why the BG5 came from this. It comes from base group 5, which actually represents this. So, and then when Ra thought it, he called it the BG5, the total knowledge set, but it comes from this penta. Okay. And showing us how the group dynamics operates, and it becomes the foundational building block. Because if somebody established a business, they might be on their own, or it might be in a partnership, and then they start adding people. So then they morph into a penta, which becomes the basic block. And then they keep on adding people. So then it goes into replications of fractals, another team, and then it keeps on adding. So it's the foundational building block of a business. And then we go to OC16s, and then these replicate to be large group dynamics. And because of the shift in 2027, at this moment, we have a lot of institutional organizations that are there. Yes, governmental organizations, a lot of NGOs, also lots of businesses that are out there, huge. But because we're going to move to the era of the individual, we will be seeing a shift in this as they're breaking. And I think at that point in time, our services is going to be even more necessary and required, because people might even not know who to trust and what to do. But if they were to honor themselves, if everybody honored their own decision-making strategy, we could all survive and be fulfilled and live nicely and content in a way that helps the society and the individual at the same time. And also making business will be easier like that. So the BG5 knowledge though, so what we're studying, the 3 to 5 people plus 1 alpha leader, let's say, what we're learning here is the sweet spot, if I can put it, because a lot of the businesses that are out there are small businesses. So the career design overview, working with individuals, I think we call that like I used to remember my teacher used to call it the bread and butter of a consultant, because that's the service that you will provide a lot. And it usually, and my experiences, it comes like a person within the organization is interested in human design and they start working with you. And then they want to take it to their company, or the leader itself is interested and they want to take it to their whole company. So the BG5 knowledge is serving a lot of businesses that are out there, what we're learning now. And then those of you who want to take it to 10 plus people, that will be in the OC16. And this is going to be like a small part of the assignment as well. I'm going to invite you to experiment. When you are in a large group, please watch, because people, as more people get added to groups, it starts breaking usually. Okay, so that's going to be part of your assignment. Observe. Whenever you happen to be in a large group, see how it's breaking into smaller groups. Okay. Sometimes people will come together in twos, like in partnerships, or they'll break into threes or 3, 4, 5s, and then people start adding, and then you will see that group breaking up as well. So just observe how that happens around you. Okay. Carolina says yes, always. Exactly. Okay, I started already talking about the times we're in, and I think this is much relevant to everyone who's here already, and you have probably heard this, but it's worth covering once again. We are in a major time of transition. The era of planning that was really focused on institutions, on skills, right? On concentration, systems of power. Yes. We're all living it. Countries attacking each other, leaders doing weird things now. And the past 14 years was all about believing in the system, trusting the authorities, honoring the society you were born into. It didn't matter what you wanted as an individual. Yeah. So as a person, you're born into a family, there's a bargain, they take care of you, and you're in return, you're expected to be a good child, do your studies, maybe later take care of your family as well, and then maybe go work somewhere. That's the story of the past years. But now things are really, really changing. Yeah, it was all about work, but the younger generation, they're not all about work. They don't even want to go to school, right? My children, they're like questioning, like, why are we going to school? And I start questioning with them. Yes, schools only teach at the cognitive level these days, all this knowledge, but doesn't even teach the kids like how to be in life, like how to do cleaning, you know, eating, growing food, gardening. It's all about knowledge, 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 knowledge. And they're like, okay, I don't want to learn all of these things. Can I not go to school? So we're seeing more and more of that. And they're not working, like they're not looking to, oh, I want to get a good job. I'm going to work there for 40 years and retire. That's no longer the dreams of the younger generation. And for us, I'll call us the older generations for everyone here. Even us, we were born into an era like this, work, 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 work. We are seeing the shift. Yeah. Especially in COVID, I think everybody went through this, started questioning, life can be short. You know, how am I going to exist as an individual? What do I want? How is the system going to work? Serve me. That self-empowerment. Also the abundance of spirit. Like think about how many people in the Western world is now interested in all the more esoteric work, what comes from the Eastern side of things, more in the spirit. Yeah, the number of people doing meditation and yoga increasing. It's all about the spirit. Yeah, and it's about trusting ourselves this new era. So what we are learning and what we can coach people with, that's why it's like the tool of the century or the future, because we can give trust to people that they have nothing to trust by themselves, but they got to start practicing it. How do they read the body signs? How do they turn inwards and know what's right for them? How do they get rid of all the conditioning of everything that they have been taught since childhood, which wasn't necessarily good for them, was it? Is everything we're taught when we're a child good for us? No, and we teach all the children the same thing. That's what the system does. Yeah? So now we're questioning things, and we can really help people understand how they can tap into their own wisdom and be aligned, so they know what to do. And the times are going to get even more rough, yeah, as the systems start shaking, shifting. There might cause a lot of anxiety in people as well. So that is our navigation system when things get tough as well. So what we preach, I'll call it that way, is really fitting the future and the background frequency that is changing. It will really help people in the shifting times. They can tap into their personal power. They can also know how to bond and who to bond with. Because when the tribal support system is breaking, how will people create successful groups? It won't be like one company paying so many people to do their work, but people will still come together, yes? So that's why now we have blockchain. There's nobody in control. We're getting rid of centralized systems. Yeah, people are working on these things. Why are they pulled? Because the background frequency is changing. We have disorganized groups, no more central, but they can still function and organize themselves. So we can help in how to create these successful groups. Also, because people don't want to work for a paycheck anymore, how can they have jobs that are fulfilling? How do they find their way? How do they know what's correct for them? Bring them to their decision-making strategy. It's very simple, but it's so, if they learn how to ride the wave like that, they can tap into their own decision-making strategy. That is what will really make the difference. All everybody has to do, all we have to do is just be ourselves. When we're aligned, we're all on our golden path. So with this tools, we can help everyone with that. And when we work with teams, when we work with businesses, we can tap with the mechanics, yeah? And it will help the organization be more healthy and help improve the bottom line. And it just doesn't have to be a business. It can be a nonprofit, it could be a sports team, it could be a classroom, an NGO. So it could be anything. When people come together to do something common, they have a common cause and they're operating together, organizing themselves, and then we can apply the team dynamics. Yeah. There's something else in the chat. Let me see. So Olga's question and you're welcome to ask questions, Olga. It's very good to have questions. Which age it is recommended to educate kids on their career design following BG5? Will we be able to consult school students, for example? Yes. Is there a policy on that? So there isn't a policy on that. You can take it to the world. And so I will give you my personal perspective. As soon as the child can start understanding things, even when they're very little, and I'm thinking like, if I had known when my children were around 3 years, of course, I can always interact with a child as an adult. If I had known when they were little, then I could always interact according to their design. But the child to be able to understand as they're, responding and all that, from 3, it can start. you can start teaching them things. Because, like, let's say you have a builder child, you know, do they want to eat something or not? Do they want to be in that school or not? It becomes important because the parents, let's say you're going to send a little child to the creche or to the kindergarten. If the child has the identity and direction open, it would be great to take the child there and leave them there for just a little bit to see if they like the environment, right? Because if somebody has identity and direction and open, it's very important that they feel the environment is key, because they're going to get amplified and they're gonna pick up on the environment. Correct environment is key for these people. We don't apply it with our children now. But if the parents knew, they could just take the child and see what the child says, and then maybe ask them, do you like it here? Maybe say yes, maybe say no. So things like this. But to be able to really coach a child and work with them, I get a lot because my friends are always interested in these things. And children are smarter these days. 6, 7 years old, you can really start having a conversation with them, I think is what I do. And then as they're growing older, they really start honoring it. Like my children, of course, because I'm so into this, they're so into this, they keep on, they have their own apps, they plug their friends in, they see, and it comes in handy with students of like younger generation, like, I found this potential girlfriend. Can we check their design? So this is what my children, they are like 16, 18. This is what they're interested in right now, partnership charts. And you would be amazed at the rate they're learning things. They just ask me questions and I answer them. And then I see them coaching their friends. Does this girl work? Why does he like this person? Type of thing. It's fun. But yeah, so you can really start at an early age. That's what Unique also applies. Yeah. And we also, and from a personal side, this is my husband and I, as we started working on this, we were thinking of a way to take this to, from our own children. We have two boys who are making university choices now, and they have been asking questions like, what's the right career to pick? I don't know which school to go to. And we right now built an assessment tool that integrates a big portion of it from human design in helping them make the right career choices, for example, based on their interests, of course, and built on that is their design. And it gives them good advice and leads to nice outcomes. Yeah. We don't have the English version as yet, but I will have it. And then maybe I'll ask you guys for some feedback and input as well when I have it ready. So there's so much goodness in this that we could use it for so many people, including little ones, and sometimes helping parents understand their children as well, so they don't push them into wrong things, to be able to do things as well. Yeah. And does anyone want to share anything? Maybe because you're into human design, everybody in this class is. How are you using with the young ones around you?
If I can share that what I wrote in the chat, yes, I have given lots of advice to my goddaughter and her husband about their 2 children and how to guide them in the right direction, and how can they connect to each other. And so they are very happy to have this guidance from me, and we talk about it every time we meet, and give them a lot of reassurance, I would say, about doing the right thing for them, and to better understand. For example, just one detail: the little girl, she is the only one emotional, and the parents and the brother, the older brother, they are no emotional. So now they know that she is making a lot of noise and crying a lot and being very active because she is emotional, and you can feel it. And when she sees me, I am emotional. Well, she plugged to me and she stays in my arms and she doesn't move. it's like my emotional and her emotional are connected, and the three others are not. So it's important for them to know how she behaves, and she behaves very differently from them, of course.
Thank you, Veronique. And I think, though we are studying the business side of things, yes, we are interested in studying the business side of things. I think business life is not separate from our personal life. We are one person in the end. So although we're taking this track and looking at it from a business perspective, of course, everything you learn is for people. So that you're going to work with a leader and they might be struggling with their child. So then, of course, they want to know, they want some advice. Last year, I was working with a businessman. He was building like big buildings in Sofia in Bulgaria, and I had a Alpha 1 leadership analysis with them. He said, "May I ask you to do one more session for somebody?" I'm like, "Yes." It turned out to be his son, of course, because once a parent learns this, they immediately want their children to benefit from this. Yes. A couple of weeks ago, I was speaking to he was also a consultant. He used to run the either Harvard or Stanford Business School for 18 years. And he's in Thailand now, but he does consultancy, and he wanted to talk to me. And then I started speaking to him about his design. And of course, his biggest problem is his daughter, and he wants to learn how to treat her right and how they can overcome the difficulties. So although we're taking the business track, people are people. Yes, they're going to come with their personal relationships. They're going to ask of things of their children as well. And you will be able to provide because you are learning the information already. Yeah. And Caroline is also sharing things around how the information has been helpful. Sometimes it's relief. You're working with a client. I had one friend/client, and because she wanted coaching with me. And she was so upset with her son not being polite to people, always like don't want to talk, always everybody's like into sports, and he was not. And the child was an initiator, and she was so upset. How the son is not so sweet like all the generator or the builder children out there. And then she understood he's different. It's like, oh, we were in the elevator, and like he wouldn't even say good morning to the nice gentleman that I got in the car into the elevator. And sometimes it's just like if a couple of things you can say about the child, or although you're not going to do an analysis, it just gives people relief. Okay, the child is different, and I just don't need to concentrate on this of changing the child and molding the child into what I want the child to be. And you can concentrate on other things with the person because a few things can really help them.
And if I can add something, Banu?
Yes, please.
I am in talks at the moment with a business school in Paris, and they have a lot of international students, and to get their masters, they need to do either create their business or find a job or find a different kind of, I would say, job in France. And the discussion is about how I can help them with the BG5 profile of their students and help them or evaluate them in terms of what they are going to do. Are they advisors, or are they builders or initiators, and see if BG5 tool can be an option to help the students at the end of the courses to find the right job or make the right decision for their career.
Exactly.
We'll
So beautiful, and they would benefit so much from it, Veronique, if you would take it to them. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Even asking questions, like my son, he keeps on synthesizing a simulation. He's a builder 3.5. He's 18, and he's like, "Mom, I'm going to be an entrepreneur." I'm like, "Okay, you can be an entrepreneur. Do you have an idea?" He didn't have anything to respond yet. He's like, "No, I don't." And what I encourage him, and he doesn't want to go to school. He's like, after high school, I wish I he doesn't want to go to university ideally. But I'm encouraging him. I said, if you have your idea, you don't have to go to university if you have something to respond to. If you don't have your idea, please go to university so you can find your tribe. Because he's synthesizing a simulation. He has the 4037. To me, it would be really nice for him to find this tribe. If he can find this tribe, perhaps he can go into his entrepreneurship and he can have things to respond to if he's to go there. So just with the knowledge, just asking them questions or encouraging them in a direction, in an environment that will help them respond to things or be invited into things is also useful for the younger ones. Yeah? Apart from, will this relationship with this girl work, which is also of their interest lately a lot. Yeah. All right. So we have just covered, so this is what we have talked about in terms of the transauric dynamics. Yeah? But we can work in solo, yes, and as a tool from this certification course, you can do like a career analysis for this person, looking at their chart, and then you will be able to take two people's chart. As you see, this one has some greens and some blues, so it's representing two people's charts. So then how would it work in a partnership? A companion chart of two people, you will be able to look into these. And then 3 to 5 people go into a penta. As you see, like this one has a gap, so they're going to have problems there. Immediately, you can tell. But even if they have something, some pillars within a certain function, like this is sales, you would still want to look at what are the details of how that sale is being done or what's brought into this group by these people. They're working with a small group. This can be a small business. It could be a team. You know? That's part of a larger organization, but if it's part of a larger organization, we take a slightly different angle, and then how to work in a large group. So this is, we hit this around 10, 9 people plus enough. Caroline says, yes, the dating app. Exactly, yeah, it might be.
Banu, so 3 to 5 people in a penta and 9 or more in OC16 WAR. How do you analyze the 6 to 8 people?
Yeah, so here's how it works. When you have 3 people, you get to the penta. Yeah. So 1 person, the chart, 2 people, companion chart, 3 people, you start working with a penta. You add more people. The moment you have five people, it's come to the limit of 1 penta. So the moment the 6th person comes in, it's going to break into 2 pentas now. So you analyze 2 pentas. And then you keep on adding more people. Once you add more people, then you will make a 3rd one. So it's in OC16, we study this. The first penta should ideally, like let's say you're working with an owner, they're building their business. The first penta should go up to 4 people. 4 is stable. It brings office stability, it makes it functional. And if they don't have gaps, if we can eliminate them, that would be the best thing. 4 people. So then if the business is growing, you add 2 more people. You take 1 person from the original 4, you make it like the senior person, perhaps also could be the manager of the 2nd penta, and you add more people, so you get to 6. If you're going to add more people, you add 1 to the first penta, 1 to the 2nd penta, because the workload is increasing. That's why you're hiring people. Yes. And then the moment you come to 9, you can make another penta. So this is the way it works. And then you add more, and then you can start replicating it. So until we keep on working with pentas, but that's why I asked, what the assignment is. The more people you add, it starts breaking into smaller groups. So we end up with more pentas. Yeah. 5 is not stable. 4 is stable. Think of a chair with 4 legs. It can be very stable. The moment you bring in the 3 is not that stable, yeah, but 4 is. The moment you put the 5, it puts stress onto the system. Okay, 2-2 genetic imperative, the 4 can move into 2-2. The moment you bring the 4, it starts creating tension. So then your penta is ready to grow into another penta. It's ready to break now with the 5th person. That's why, like, we advise, don't come to 5. From 4, it's ideal to go to 6, for example, because you don't want to create that tension. And it was, now this is on a personal side, but I was working with a client on her business, and they had a 3rd child recently. And then she said the family dynamics kind of changed it, and they started having different things happen now. And I sensed it because they were a family of 4. Now they have another person in the family, it's 5. So then it starts becoming unstable. I haven't studied family pentas, but it applies. It's the penta. So it becomes a little unstable with the 5 because it's ready to move into another penta. All right. Now I want to change a little bit of track and start speaking more into the details of the aura. We talk about the aura. We know, like, a lot of people like, oh, okay, we're energetic beings. We know something like aura exists. But it's a very important part of our work, because the aura, which is the electromagnetic frequency that emanates from us, and it's scientifically proven, yes, it's a part of us. And I'm sure many of you know, according to quantum theory and according to quantum physics, we are all frequency at the same time. Yes, we're both particle and wave at the same time, and we're part of a frequency field. And our energetic being, which is beyond our form, the body, it interacts with the frequency of the world, plus the frequency and the auras of the other people that are there. So it's the pull of life, and everything has a frequency. And if you think about it, our auras speak louder than our words. Yeah? The moment you see somebody, even if they didn't open their mouth, you know something about that person. Yeah? If you know them, you probably know something about their state of being because you've seen them in the past. Even if you don't know them, you start having a perception of this person because the frequency, the aura speaks. And we understand it at a different level. And the sum total of who we are is found in our aura. And it's important in our work because when we come together, our auras start interacting. And the frequencies merge, and that's how we have the transauric forms. That's why they're called transauric forms. Aura, but it transes into something else where 1 + 1 = 3. That's why you walk into one room, you feel different. Maybe you go into a meeting with different people, you'll be different. Yeah, you work in one company, you're great. You move to the next, you're not. Or even the same company, same culture, but different team is different. Because it is very much different. Working from the office is different from working from home, aurically. Yeah, are you in the frequency field of people or not? And these beings are formed with our aura. So it's an important part of who we are. Yeah. And our design, of course, is the blueprint of our frequency, if you think about it. And the way aura is explained is our frequency field. If you open your hands like this, it is 2 arms lengths. Okay, so if you put a sphere around you of 2 arms lengths, this is our aura. So it's very easy to intermingle with people. Yeah. And one thing to also be very aware of is that the auras penetrate the walls and ceilings because they're in the frequency field and they're not in form, they penetrate. So then if you're living in a big building, even houses next to each other. Someone can be in your aura, even if you can't physically see them or be aware of them. So this could also be somebody upstairs, somebody downstairs, or down the room from you. And you can test it to see how it works for you. And experimenting or trying to understand how these auras work is an important part, because you want to be present to be able to feel into auras. And it's not like you want to feel other auras, but how do you feel when you are being affected by other auras? That's the easiest thing you can do. How am I feeling alone? You just want to make sure you're alone. Yes, like I'm in a hotel room in Heidelberg right now. So perhaps there are people next door, upstairs, downstairs. Probably I'm not alone. So then when you're really alone, you know there's no one around you, you can see how you feel. And sometimes like sudden shifts in your energy. So try to tap into it and try to understand. It requires being present, but it's an important part. Yeah, you can test it. There's something in the chat. Yes, so Veronique says very important spending feng shui. Yes, it is. And it becomes important because when we go to work, especially when we go to work, all these auras are intermingling and it creates an energy. And everybody's aura speaks their type. Yes, when we speak types, we talk about how the auras work. And it's speaking, it becomes our nonverbal presence is in our aura. So it's something to be aware of. So there's been like work done with horses, for example, being able to feel it, or sometimes like people, when you start walking towards someone, you can test it. So my invitation for you is to try to find a way of feeling it. Yeah. So for example, approaching a person and trying to feel their aura. Can you feel it? Animals can really, a lot of animals are reflectors. So they amplify the energy of the people around them, if I can. Not a lot, all, because their design is different. Because they're not upward like this. They live horizontally, and their design is different from us, the mammals. Animals get the mammal imprint, and they reflect the auras. Yeah? Or you could try with, like, if you feel the energy like this. So I've done some practice, so I can immediately feel like how it feels. But try it, okay, and see how it feels. Like for me, because I'm an advisor, and not everybody here has seen my design, so I'm just gonna pull that up. But because I'm an advisor and I'm emotionally open as well, I can pick up a lot of energies if I'm in other people's auras. So at work, for example, my desk is situated at a very nice place. We share the same office with my husband, but his desk is away. There's a lawyer in the next office, but I know where her desk is. Behind me is the kitchen. So unless somebody walks there, I'm usually alone. So I like it there. One thing I couldn't check is there somebody upstairs sitting right on top of where I am? I couldn't check that, but I usually feel good. But check it, okay? So it's an important part of our work. And talking about being an advisor, as I'm finding this other slide, an advisor, I was speaking to a recent graduate of mine. She's a very good educator, a coach. She does other things, but she just graduated as BG5 consultant, and we were having a discussion. She goes, Banu, I sleep alone, because it's advised that we sleep alone, as you know, although not everybody does. Because I've started to try to sleep on my own as much as possible. So even with my partner, I try to be alone. But in the house, I made some arrangements, she said. I wasn't sleeping with my husband, but then I found out I was sleeping with the neighbor because the neighbor's bedroom was just behind where she wanted to place her bed. But she found out. But it was so funny when she said, I wasn't sleeping with my husband, but the neighbor. So be careful about whose aura you're in, because it affects us. Yeah. So it can really create these beautiful auric, transauric forms, and we will be affected at the same time. So something to be cognizant about. Another story in Ra's lectures. So I think when he's teaching the OC16 course, and he only taught it once. And during his teachings, he lived in Ibiza, but he was Canadian, and he had to live in Canada for a certain period, months within a year. So he went to Vancouver or something, and he was looking for a place to live. And he's sharing with the people in class. So it's part of the class notes, and because it's like his lectures are captured word to word. He goes, I am looking for an apartment. I went into all the buildings and I found the one that has the highest ceilings. So I know like there's nobody above me or below me as well, because this one has high ceilings, and he rented that one. Okay. Ra was very cognizant about the Wa and how he was affected by people. He lived a lot on his own in Ibiza, in his own aura. So he was really affected by these things. Okay. Good things to have because they make up our teams, but it's something to be very cognizant about and aware about as well. Because all of us, we have this unique design and it speaks itself. We're unconsciously broadcasting who we are through our aura. Yeah. So whether like in working with a client, are you going to speak to them about their aura? Depends on the person. Yeah. But you can definitely speak to them about their nonverbal presence. That's more business-like. Yeah. Depending on the take of the client, you can say openly like your aura, or you could say your nonverbal presence. Couple of the last certification class I was teaching, I invited, she's American, but she lives in Switzerland. Her name is Susan Steiner. She wrote a book, but it's a murder book, but it has human design in it. The characters have their designs embedded into the book, and she's an ICF certified master coach, and she's a BG5 consultant, and she was visiting us in class to share her experiences with us. And she said, I'm an ICF coach. I work with big leaders. And when I go into the first, they have discovery calls, I tell them, would you like to know about your nonverbal presence? Because everybody else sees your nonverbal presence. So would you like to find out? And she said, they all say yes, because they want to understand how other people see them. So that was her pitch, to integrate BG5 into her ICF coaching. Your nonverbal presence is important. That's what everybody sees, even before you open your mouth. Would you like me to tell you about it? Was her sales pitch. Isn't that great? And she said, I never get no's, maybe like 1 or 2 in my life. Somebody said no to this pitch. But it's important in business, your nonverbal presence. And the more people are aligned with themselves, the more clear they give out signals. Yeah? So what we give out is like a boomerang. It also comes back to us. So when we're emanating clear signals, we get back clear signals. And it shapes the way we experience the world, of course. So when people are congruent with their design, operating in alignment, there's a signal of like this clear, clean communication that reflects back, that leads to good things. Yeah, and we naturally attract what's correct for us if we're in alignment. But if not, we're broadcasting static, and it brings chaos and confusion. It also activates chaos and confusion in others. Then our frequency is distorted, and perhaps we attract things that are not right for us. And a lot of people, of course, unfortunately, operate in the static. Carolina made a comment. Yes, I do see as it's a great way of pointing it out to them if we do it this way. And if we meet somebody in person, and these days we meet a lot of people online, and it is very different when you meet them in aura. So when we actually meet a person, we meet them in their wholeness, not just about what they say, just about what they do, but the sum total of who they are, because it's just it's in the energy. And we as consultants, of course, we can recognize how to advise people in terms of their interrelationships with people. Because we study how the auras of different types are. Yeah, and I have a few slides now I'm going to take you over, but you've all done foundations and you know how our auras work differently, how builders are different from initiators and advisors, and our evaluators are different too. So if you have the chance to meet them in person, you as a consultant also have an idea about what their problems might be. Yeah. And also being able to coach them in the right way. Over the weekend, I had a client, because she had to travel, she asked that we have our session over the weekend. We did, and in the middle, like we've covered, it was like a first thing, like a career design overview, introducing her to her design. By the time we got to a simulation, we had spoken about her boss, how she was not feeling so good at work, an advisor who's under lots of pressure. And I came to a simulation and I'm feeling her energy. Her heart is like, I can feel like she's stressed because we talked about her boss and there was a situation that made her feel bad. So I said to her, I said, we need a break, because if I tell you about the rest, it's not going to go in. She's like, yeah, let's go for a walk. So we stopped the session and we went for a walk. But then you feel it in people's energy, how they're feeling. So if you experiment with it, and a lot of you, of course, are in your experimentation already, yes. So tap into it with awareness, and you will find a lot there in terms of aura. So let's talk a little bit about the auras of different types. We have initiators, yes. With the initiators, because of their aura being closed and protective and is pushing outwards, they usually, and that's what speaks out from them before even they speak, of course, people around them will feel it. So if you're working with an initiator, you can automatically sense or infer that they might have problems because of this. Because the large number of people in the world are builders. Their aura is warm and enveloping, and it's open, and it's like engulfing and taking in. 70% is like this. So this is the norm, if I can put it that way. A lot of people are like this. So if somebody in a business walks in, they're an initiator, their energy is different and people feel it. So if you're working with an initiator, have this in mind. You can start asking them questions around this. And we've spoken about initiators in our foundation course. They usually feel bad about this. They've either found ways of making sure people like them, or they've always felt, a lot of them felt like they were punished out of no reason. As a child, maybe they didn't connect with others as much as possible and had problems in business, because the aura is different.
Yeah.
And also if they don't know how to inform too, it creates a bigger problem. Yeah. Veronique, did you want to add something here?
Yes, on my experience with initiators, sometimes they want to make a point on what they are saying, and several times with initiators, it was like in their aura, it was like being hit or slammed, because their energy naturally is pushing out, but when they want to make a point with their voice and all their energy, it's like you are slammed and you don't fall down, but it's really hurting you. It's incredible.
Yes. So if you're working with an initiator, go in with a hunch that they may have faced the consequences of their aura, because the world is not so much used to their aura. So then you can start working accordingly with them, help them understand it's in the mechanics and there's nothing wrong with them in the first place. And slowly, of course, start teaching them about how they should inform. And then the builders, of course, they're open, they're enveloping. For them, it's like they take in too much. Yes, and they have a lot of energy to give, so they attract a lot of things, and then they spend their energy on a lot of things. They might have mental conditioning. Yes, I have to make things happen. I better do things, initiate things as well. So you can begin by working with them in terms of how their aura works. First of all, for example, when I work with builders, I always underline, because they work like a magnet and they connect immediately. The magnet example is somebody everybody can quickly resonate with. Your energy is like a magnet. So then what they're intending to, what their intentions are, what they're disseminating into the field, they attract. So if they're thinking of negative things, thinking about all the things that they don't want it to happen, or all these people they don't want to see, the universe doesn't understand those negatives. You just keep on attracting them. So they got to be careful around their energy. And how to take advantage of their energy, because if they can attract so many things into their life, they have a great tool to use. No, they're lucky. Like, you want to draw things into your life, put your intention there, start focusing on that. They can be good salespeople if they're in it. If their heart is in it, they're skilled in it. Yes, there's more things, of course, but they have this warm thing. They have lots of energy. So it's something that they can be using to their advantage in terms of how their aura works. And also helping, like especially if you're working with teams, the auras also come in, or the nonverbal presence comes handy there for them to understand. When I was a manager, we hired a marketing manager and initiator, and the rest of the team were builders. She came in, strong girl, hardworking, like really on top of her things, but she kept on offending people. She came so strong. So I had to teach my builders, the rest of the team, like they would get upset, but they learned, like, this is how her energy works. It's different from yours. So don't judge her based on her energy, because it's like she starts 2 points behind already before she opens her mouth and says anything, because they felt it. So they learned in time not to judge her. And it worked. So you can also use it in working with teams, like helping people understand how the aura works. Advisors are focused and absorbing. Yes, sometimes it can be too much because we hook in to the other person. It could be felt like intrusive as well, depending. And we're all different. And of course, with the advisors, with their aura, because they don't have that energy resource defined, they have a lot of vulnerability picking energy off the field. They amplify it. It's good. It's something you can share with advisors, that you can amplify the energy of others. Isn't it great to be able to tap into that in business? Of course it is. So you can share this with them, but also be careful around all these things that you keep on absorbing. dear advisor. Sometimes people feel it, like it's good for them to take a shower, like water is neutralizing, yes? So like to get rid of all this energy, stay in your own room for 20 minutes when you go to the house, for example. Or a lot of advisors like sitting in their car because they're alone. And energy neutralizing activities, for example, help them because business life is very busy. It's a lot of energy. Is it helping this person or is it draining them? And then also advisors in terms of aura, because they can connect to a lot of people. In terms of business advice, if they don't work with too many people, it works them well. So I've seen advisors like teachers or if they do like workshops, they don't do it with too many people because they like working one-on-one. Yeah, because that's the way the aura works. Then they can really take advantage of it. So these are the things that you can actually share with an advisor in terms of their aura. And then with evaluators, of course, it's resistant and sampling. For them, the environment is key. So to coach them into, they might have problems in terms of aura. Some of them feel they're not seen, like physically not seen. And it happens because their aura is not felt by other people. People bump into them, for example, the evaluators, or they don't feel them when they enter a room because the aura is not intrusive and it's not like speaking out. So sometimes they might feel unseen, for example, and that includes their aura. And also working with evaluators, if you're coaching them, consulting with them, or you have an evaluator in the team, how they're going to amplify the energy of others and keep on taking it in. And sometimes they morph into being other people as well. So very important for evaluators to understand more of what they take in and what they're sampling, and to be cognizant of that because they're so open, they're picking up everything. So helping them let the energy pass through them and understand it is important. Some of them, some evaluators can be even psychic. They over-perceive. And I met somebody who actually trained herself on how to turn it on and off, like all these psychic abilities, because they're so open, they pick up so much, and then they might have even more skills. But you don't want to keep on picking up everybody all the time. It can be really bad. So how to turn it on and off. She was learning that. She had mastered it actually, and then it served her well. So you can have these cases. But working with evaluators, helping them understand how they can be like Teflon in terms of aura, let it slip. And the fact that you're not seen is because that's the way the aura works. It's nothing personal as well. Helping them understand these things is important. And also, if they're having problems with specific people, of course, they're reflecting, or these people are seeing themselves in them. It can be. It's also part of the aura in a word, in a sense, if I can put it that way. So that is for evaluators as well. So that covers the aura. Let's see, there's something in the chat. Suzanne says, my advisor Doro loves to sit in her car. Yes. It's a way of, advisors feel it, but they don't know it at the awareness level, and I found solutions to this. It was when I started first learning human design and I started my studies. I was leading sales at Microsoft. It's a very busy company to work for, lots of work to do. And I used to drive home. It was like a 50-minute drive one way. So, but there are cars around you all the time. But when I went home, I would directly go to the room, my room, which was on the 3rd floor, and stay there. I couldn't come down for 30 minutes. Okay, need to be alone. And I didn't know, but yes. I have advisors. There's another, she's a director in an NGO. She's, oh, I go out driving in my car all the time because I can't take these people at work. And then she asked for an office at the top floor where nobody works. They're like, why are you working there? It's like the shabby offices. And she's like, oh, I like it there because she's in her own aura. She chooses when to connect or not, which is good. All right. Anything else around the auras? Experiment with it, okay? That's my invitation to all of you. Try to feel into it. It's good practice for us. Ah, yes. Working in London in open space. Yes, exhausted. Yep, that happens too. We were talking about this in the OC16 class. I have a student who lives in Amsterdam, and Amsterdam is like houses are squished. They're small. There are so many people living in such a space. It's like this city is just getting to me. Yes, it does. It may. Just know it, yeah. So you can do your thing. You can go into being alone, into the woods, get rid of the energy that you have built. Those are important things. Okay. So with that, I think I have covered everything I wanted. We have 5 minutes. Very quickly, there's some slides on becoming a BG5 consultant. I think we have covered it in a lot of ways. So the power to transform businesses and people's lives in a big way is in our power. If you thought about the impact that you can really have. And this is a way of getting it to people. They don't really, some of them will be interested in knowing it. Some of them won't be, but you can still make a difference for them. And you can help them in many ways that we have discussed: career choices, healthier work environments, working with business owners, helping people in their jobs or careers, working with startups, working with other coaches and consultants. I have other consultants who work with me. Let's say they're working with a leader in strategy, other things. They will call me to understand the person's design, and then I will deliver a career design overview or like an Alpha 1 leadership analysis overview to the leader, and then they move on from there. So they know how to engage. So you can work with other consultants. It can be used in HR, in recruiting processes, for students. Yes, we discussed the solopreneurs, struggling business owners, struggling partnerships, maybe people who want to grow their business. Sometimes they want to shrink their business, is too much. Or NGOs, nonprofits, and all that. And you can help them in many, many ways. Yeah? And this is not about teaching them about design. We are here to provide solutions to their problems. So it's an advanced level of using this information, which you will be able to do. Because this is a certification course, a lot of people ask, so like, how much is it good to charge when we become a consultant? So I have a slide about that as well. It will be in the deck. But these are like the recommended prices, of course, depending on where you are in the world and the purchasing power of that country you're going to serve, you can adjust, and based on your what you want to make and your experience in terms of coaching, you can adjust your prices. But this is just to give you an overview of how much it could be charged. I've seen people charge more. I've seen people charge less. But these are the round numbers that you can have an idea around how much it could be. And people make their own packages as well, which is they can incorporate other things into their coaching sessions, which is also doable. Like my husband, he's an ICF coach. He also delivers like single sessions, but he now brought the information into his coaching practice. So like if he was going to do 5 sessions with the client on anything that the client wanted to work on, in every session, he brings out some details from this. So those are also possible ways of using the information. Yeah, I think that's all I have for you. There are some more slides in the deck. So this is going to be in the handouts. You can take a look at it. The course details, I've already shown you what's there. Yes, the content of what we're gonna cover. And then the final certification is, of course, it's always like as we go along, we want to use the information and work with as many people as possible, do some practice sessions of actually delivering the information as well. And we will be doing that together and looking at cases together. So we can all learn from each other's learnings as well. All right, with that, I think I have covered everything I wanted. For those who haven't registered, so it's easy to subscribe. You just go to the webpage and you would just order from the class. The Institute also built some packages if you wanted to look into the packages. There are some advantages of buying things together as well. So that's also available on the website. And any questions on like registrations, you can send a mail to the office at bg5businessinstitute.com, and they are more than happy to help you with this. And if you have questions for me, of course, please send them along, and I would love to support you. Before I just open it up for questions, there's the practice assignment, of course. We got to practice, yes, use the information. So please make sure you can access the online classroom. Please introduce yourself there on the forum so we can start getting to know each other. It's important. Yes, we're going on a journey together. Some of you have been on a journey, but it's almost 1.5 years that we're going to take together. I have classes that are so bonded. People get together, they visit each other, they do work together, they do sharing together. So it's like cohorts really connect. Yeah, it's our journey together. Then we discussed about watching a large group and see how that works. And the ask for class 2, we have covered assimilation in foundation. We're going to build on that information. I don't want to spend more time telling you again about assimilation in our class time. I'd rather use the time for other purposes. So although you know it, if you want, you can go back and review assimilation from foundation class 7. Okay. And in next class, I'm going to introduce, but I'm going to encourage you to find a buddy so we can work together. You can be working buddies, and you will deliver each other career design overviews at the end of the class. Start thinking about who you want to work with. If you want to ask each other, get a response, and then let me know, that would be nice. And we will be looking into that in class 2. Okay. So with that, I'm going to open it up for questions if there are any questions. Any comments? How are you finding the certification? Any questions? It's always me speaking a lot. I know, like as we go along, there'll be more input from the class. All right. Okay. All right. Well, everyone, I want to thank you for being part of the class, for registering. If you're considering and you have questions, feel free to reach the office or me. And I hope to see all of you in the next class. You take care. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Banu. See you next week.
Thank you, Veronique. Thank you so much.
And have a nice trip.
Oh, thank you. Bye, Caroline.
Bye, Caroline. Carolina.